In 2015, the nation's loss due to corruption reached 205 trillion rupiahs. Can you imagine how many schools and hospitals that we can build to help improve our nation's competitiveness by using that money? If we do not do something real and innovative toward this problem, corruption in Indonesia will be worse. Therefore, I am Irman Faiz, the representative of Universitas Indonesia to Pemilihan Mawapres Nasional 2016, here proposing my ideas of the innovative strategies to eradicate corruption in order to enhance our nation's competitiveness. Before we formulate the strategies, let me tell you that I am classifying corruption as a downstream problem, and every downstream problem has its own upstream. Therefore, to eradicate corruption, we will use two approaches which are upstream and downstream. Let me begin with the upstream. Shabir and Anwar in 2007 tried to look at the economic factors that trigger corruption by using developing countries as their samples. They found that most corruptors have high level of education, which somehow indicates that there is something wrong with our education system. The value of anti-corruption is not well delivered through our education system. Therefore, the first strategy is internalizing the value of anti-corruption to all of Indonesians since a very early age, because childhood is a golden age in the shaping of children's behavior and values. Do you remember how much we loved to play games when we were a child? Even if our parents forbid us, we just continued playing the games. Hence, a game can be a medium for us to internalize the value of anti-corruption. There are actually many games that can be used, but in this case, let's specify to the Snakes and Ladders game board. Snakes and Ladders is simply a game played by some children with the goal of being the first player to reach the end by moving across the board from square 1 to the final square. Among those squares, there should be persuasive and understandable words for children about anti-corruption messages. For instance, congratulations, you got so many friends because you are an honest and responsible person. We do not mention the word of corruption explicitly, but we change it into a simpler and more understandable ones. In this digitalized era, it is very common to see young people who are attached with their gadgets. This can be an opportunity for us to spread this game as an application that can be downloaded via Play Store or App Store. Making this game as an application doesn't mean leaving the old-fashioned one. We still need to produce this kind of game for the children in remote areas where PC tablets, smartphones, or any other gadgets are unaffordable for many. It sounds very simple, but I believe that it would change the mindset of young generation in the future. The first strategy is a long-term project. We also need to formulate a short-term strategy to accelerate the process of corruption eradication. Therefore, the second strategy that I propose is rewards and punishment system for corruption monitoring institution, which in this case is KPK.
Hukuman bagi koruptor di Indonesia dinilai masih terlalu ringan.
Bagaimana bisa betul keadilan? Bagaimana bisa membawa bangsa ini? Ternyata proses yang memang harus itu dilalui untuk menangkap para penjahat kakap itu pun harus dihalangi.
So far, we have been focusing only on the corruptors. Most of our policymakers are concerned with increasing the punishment for corruptors, but only few or even perhaps none of them who view KPK as one of the most important institutions to be supervised. Therefore, corruption eradication using this approach is innovative. KPK is one of the upstream factors of corruption. It has been proven scientifically through an inspection game theory that the way KPK behaves affects the probability of corruption to occur. This system will increase the cost to perform corruption that will eventually disincentivize people to corrupt. To impose this system, we need to pass several steps. Firstly, we need to create clear indicators to evaluate KPK's performance. Secondly, appointing an independent evaluator in the form of small council. Thirdly, Indonesia's citizens should commit to stand against corruption together, to work together with KPK to eradicate corruption, and to also monitor KPK's performance. Having finished with the upstream, we will continue to deal with the downstream, which is corruptors. Inspection game that we have discussed in the previous section also described that to decrease the probability of corruption to occur, we need to increase the punishment of the convicted corruptors. Regarding the punishment of convicted corruptors, in the short run, it is urgent that we increase the realization of punishment, then increase the level of punishment. According to the data, the realization of punishment in Indonesia is very low. Indonesia is a very big country with a very complicated corruption phenomenon. Therefore, eradicating corruption would be easier said than done. Nevertheless, by implementing the 3 ultimate strategies and by working together, especially among young people of the country to eradicate corruption, I believe that it is possible for us to eradicate corruption and increase our nation's competitiveness. Corruption seems impossible to be eradicated. But if it is not now, then when? And if it is not us, then who?